All right, folks, we are live, and by we, I mean me, Jeff of World Class Bullshitters. I'm also joined by Jesse Milestone of Mindless Entertainment.
Woo woo, sitting right next to you,
Yes.
so we can do this.
And no one can see it.
Exactly.
We also have Anna, that Star Wars girl.
Hello.
That's me.
Yes, it is you. It's Cecil. What's up, buddy?
No, I had to.
I know. I heard it. I was just going to play off of it, man.
How are you? I'm doing good. I'm about to have. I like this stuff. It was the first time I tried it. Pinhook bourbon.
Cool. That's quite a temporally relevant hat you're wearing.
Yeah.
Well, it is an election year, so I thought I'd get it mixed up in it, you know.
So, as the only member of this panel that was around back then, what was that election cycle like?
Oh, I was a few months old.
Oh, so folks, we're here to talk about The Boys tonight. This is going to be a multi-part stream. First part's going to be here on World Class Bullshitters, and we're jumping to Mindless Entertainment, but we're keeping Cecil and Anna. And next week, we're going to be continuing this, correct?
I believe so, with Anna, right? Anna died.
Yeah, she's still here.
Yeah, I think my internet is doing something weird because you guys roboted out.
No, that was them. That was them, not you.
That was them? It was
we
me?
roboted?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I guess
You're all good now, though.
Cool. So then Anna's going to be taking the mantle for the future weeks.
Yeah. And we're going to basically review the entire series of The Boys as we keep going on, because it's a damn good show. And we need something really fun and positive to talk about in our sphere right now.
Dude, this shit was intense. I fucked up. I thought it was just one episode per week. So I'm like, all right, I got time. I watched, some of the last season. Then I watched the first episode. And then it started playing episode 2. I'm like, wait, what? Did they release the whole
Yep.
So I failed. So I'm about halfway into episode 2.
Well, you know what? That'll be perfect, because what's Anna's other name that the internet knows her as? That spoilers girl. So turnabout is fair play.
Mm-hmm.
This is for everyone out there who's ever had the plot of a movie ruined by Anna. This is for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to watch Nick last night. He started giving the plot to Tenet away.
Oh no.
He explained exactly how the shit works. I'm like, well, I wasn't going to see the movie anyway, so I don't care. 4 people left.
I know a few things that happened in Tenet because Narwhal was spoiling it for us last night. Do you remember that, Cecil?
Nope.
I honestly don't care if it's spoiled or not. I kind of want to see it at some point, but I'm not tripping.
Well, I think the conversation was mostly about the ginormous woman that's in it. She's 6'3".
Straight up, I haven't even seen a trailer for that movie. That's how invested I am in Tenet. So, yeah.
I don't know. I got bored by what was that one where Inception?
Oh yeah, with Leo.
I liked the concept. I liked some of the set pieces and the visuals, and I loved the relationship between Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Tom Hardy. And the rest of it I could take or leave.
By the way, Gypsy Warrior, yes, we reviewed the Bond trailer last night on the podcast, so it's probably towards the final. No, it's towards the middle of the show. I know. I read that.
We'll get to that stuff.
I forgot what we were, what I was watching, but I saw the Bond trailer and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
It looks nothing like the last one, that's for sure. We were talking about it. We both feel like it's moving away from that heavily Jason Bourne inspired action. Born into the action style.
And now it's going to be Mission Impossible.
Which is a lot more palatable. I think it's a lot easier to watch. But it still doesn't feel like Bond, but it feels more like a movie I want to see now. Yeah,
I'll be there opening night. Well, we'll be there because we talked about that. But we have a perfect transition into talking about The Boys. From Price is Right Review says, yo, sup, my man, party time, boys and 2 lovely ladies. Here, stay awesome. I love The Boys. So far, it's Watchmen meets Deadpool. LOL, graphic violence and humor. So, Cecil, you're a huge comic guy. Had you ever read The Boys prior to the show?
No, and I was about to order the entire thing from Dynamite, but then I decided not to buy it from it.
Good choice.
Wonder why.
That was like during The Boys came out during my
It's terrible echo, Cecil.
Not from me.
Yeah, it's only when you talk.
We're not getting an echo on our end.
Yeah.
It's only when you listen.
You two are like an old married couple. I love it.
The what was I going to say? Yeah, that was like during my like blackout years for comics. There was a certain amount of years I just kind of took off, and The Boys was in the middle of it. So I was actually happy to watch something comic book related that I didn't fucking already read, because that's so rare when that happens. So I actually didn't. I purposely didn't go back and read it because I was enjoying the first season so much.
Yeah. Same here. I mean, I've never read The Boys. I read Hero Gasm issue 1, which is like a Boys offshoot, and it was really weird and strange, and the show's nothing like that. So I have the, like you see, so it's very nice to go in and watch something and not go, that character doesn't look right, or that character doesn't know, whatever. Like I think they changed out what's her face, the new character. She's a man in the book.
Oh, okay.
She looked familiar, that chick. I was just trying to look her up. It said she was in Wolf of Wall Street. I don't know what.
Okay. I still haven't seen that.
She was in Wall Street. Who the heck was she?
Next time I have.
I don't know. I just.
Was she the Oh my God, what's his name? Jonah Hill. Was she
the wife?
Like the hot cousin.
Maybe. I don't know.
Let me see. Let me look her up.
I'm looking it up now on IMDb. Her name was Aya Cash. No, she was his assistant.
I don't remember having an assistant.
Has she done anything else, Cecil?
Not really. She was born in 1982. Same like me.
I was about to say 20 years after you. And,
her filmography is The Boys, Scare Me, Fosse TV miniseries, Easy, You're the Worst TV series, Will and Grace, and
so this is big.
I thought I saw Wolf of Wall Street on her resume. Oh. Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street.
So this is kind of a big deal for her because she's done more, minor characters and smaller roles.
Yeah, this is a big role for her. She just looks kind of familiar. Maybe she just reminds me of somebody else.
She does have a very kind of generic face. Like it's not super generic, but she fits a type. Like I've seen that type, Yeah,
she looks familiar. Like that's it. She just looks
Jeff actually has an interesting theoory about her.
We'll talk about that a little later
into
on.
that. I'm not going to give it away yet, but Jeff has a really interesting theory about her that I think will probably end up being true. I'm not sure.
I mean, I figured she was going to be a racist by the name Stormfront because that was like that Nazi website.
That actually gives more credence to your theory.
Yeah. They kind of showed all their cards in the beginning of season 2.
I think they did. Yeah. And the thing is, I'm not even mad about it though, because so far there have still been a couple of things we haven't seen coming. And then there's also there's a freshness. Like I'm so curious to see how long they can keep this breakneck pace up, because it feels like since episode 1 of season 1, every episode that's just they're adding more, another side plot, another character, another layer to the story, to the mystery, another power, another super, there's always more. And so far it's like they're juggling 8,000 balls and not missing a stride. So far they're keeping every thread going. There's no loose ends from the last season that they're not following.
Right. They don't just like glaze over shit and be like, that was going nowhere, so forget it. Like everything's tied together. It's pretty tight.
And every character has nuance. That's what we were saying. I'm so impressed by even someone like what's her face, the former PR manager who's now has Sylvan's job. Even she has this depth and this nuance to her character that I really appreciate. That really makes everyone engaging, even when you hate them, even when you're just waiting for them to get their comeuppance, you still can't stop watching them. I think that's such a testament to the writing. And the other thing that I love about the way the show's written and presented is so much nonverbal storytelling. They really understand the art of the show don't tell, and to not just a big level, but like a very nuanced level. There's so much communication that goes on between characters via facial expression, via little moments, nods, the way they hang on a face, with the editing, the way the music accompanies something. It's all the pieces of film working together to tell the story, not just the dialogue or the obvious on the nose visuals. And it's really refreshing. So I don't feel like we don't see a lot of that in storytelling anymore.
Yeah, I like the I kind of like the what's the deep fucking side story of him getting involved in like a cult church?
Like Simon, I called the second that guy showed up. and was like, I want to show you the way. I'm like, it's going to be like a weird, crazy cult. And they pull up.
And also, I want to give a shout out to Jaws because I actually got scared when the boat was being fucking chased by sharks.
Dude, I cheered when he shot at the sharks because I fucking hate sharks. I was like, kill them all.
Oh yeah, Anna hasn't even gotten to that part yet. Anna, there are sharks.
I have not, and now that I know there's sharks,
the entire chat is calling me a fat dwarf right now. I'm feeling fair enough.
Dwarves are differently proportioned, all right, but they're very dangerous over short distances. And now you should understand the reference.
I am
Sorry about that.
But so let's figure. Okay, so we're going to take it back to the beginning of season 1 real quick. So we all saw all of season 1. Anna, somebody who likes The Boys, season 1. What did you think of it overall?
I really liked it. I always say a hero is only as strong as their villain, because if you have a weak villain, they have nothing to rise up to defeat. So the stronger the villain, the more compelling the story is. And it has freaking awesome villains. I didn't like that the one lady died. I thought it would have been a little bit more interesting to keep her there, the one with the baby, the old lady with the baby.
The old lady. Elizabeth Shue.
Yeah, so I feel like the thing is, though, because
the elderly lady with the newborn baby.
The old lady with the baby. I feel like, though, they had to get her out of the way because it would have been too jumbled, because now Homelander's focus is Becca and the kid, not Stillwell. I think she would have been, I just said something about all the balls in the air. I think that would have been one too many. I don't think you could have found the Homelander storyline.
The thing is, they know where it's going. I think you fuck up when, like in Game of Thrones, when you lose your little guidebook.
Yeah.
And so as long as you have your guidebook, you know how to plan it out. So I think that's one of the reasons why they're able to juggle so many plot points, so many character arcs, and so much, because they know where everything is going. It's already been planned out for them.
Yeah.
And so they get to, now that they know what's going to happen, they know why to highlight certain things and why to just kind of glaze over certain things.
Exactly.
The lady who got killed, the mother, she was Ralph Macchio's girlfriend in Karate Kid.
I live not too far from where that movie takes place.
Thank you, Hulk Smash.
And she was Marty McFly's girlfriend in Back to the Futures 2 and 3.
Yeah.
She is a lesser Jennifer for those out there.
Is she in Cobra Kai?
Not yet.
Yeah, next season she is. The end of this season, Johnny gets a text from her.
Oh, I gotta catch up because you need to. Okay, they first added
it on Netflix now. It's easy to watch. Yeah.
Well, I've seen the first season. I don't know how I found the first season, but we reviewed it many years ago on the channel. It was excellent. I want to show you the Karate Kid and then Cobra Kai seasons 1 and 2 over a weekend.
Okay,
it's a fun series. You can rip right through it.
Sounds good.
It looked really good from the commercial. I still haven't watched it either, but yeah, I really, as much as Homelander is, he's just like not a likable person. I really like him as a villain, and so, I'm only two.
Yeah, I like him. I like him as a villain. I don't like the good guys. I'm not a big fan of what's his name.
Really?
Huey. I love Huey. Oh my God, Huey.
I'm not a big fan of Huey or fucking the Australian guy. I'm blanking on his name.
Carl Urban, Billy Butcher. Fucking love both those characters.
I don't like those. I like the French dude and the black dude way better.
I do too.
Frenchie's great. Frenchie was someone I could have taken or leaving. I could have taken
Mother's Milk though.
His name is Mother's Milk.
What was the reason for that?
No clue.
You get more of an explanation in the comic, but it has something to do with he has it's not that he has powers, but he has abilities.
He lactates.
No.
What? Are we still talking about Frenchie?
I don't know.
I'm forgetting. I had this conversation.
Wait, who is the?
I don't want to find out.
Okay, that's fine.
Don't ask for elaboration.
I did. I will say this about the first 3 episodes: there hasn't been a total shocking scene. To me, last season had so many great shocking scenes. Like even just the opener of the guy's.
You don't think the chick getting her head blown up?
Yeah, that was
cool.
Didn't see that coming. We didn't see that coming.
I did not see that coming. I liked it. You got a little nosebleed and then her head exploded.
And then it blew. That was to me one of the that was
good.
I mean, I had more of a reaction to the fucking whale getting impaled.
I mean, that was hysterical. That's
the best thing I've ever seen on TV.
That's one of the great things about this show too. Is they've done so. Like, I don't need to be surprised by the plot point because I'm still surprised by the visuals. You know, like that whole sequence with Deep trying to step in and save the day at the end of the 3rd episode was just it was surprising. For the,
I love Homelander's like, your gills are showing. It's fucking disgusting.
It's fucking disgusting. After all of his fucking journey, which, oh my God, I gotta say, like, the Deep is really growing on me as a character because it's so funny to laugh at him. It is so easy to laugh at him, but at the same time, it's so fascinating because it's taking, like, this show, I swear to God, whoever wrote these characters, like, had a serious interest in psychology because it's such a universal experience that he's going through.
My only complaint was Patton Oswalt was the voice of his guild.
Same. I
can't stand him. I can't stand him.
Jesse, did you watch Gossip Girl?
Oh my God, the first several seasons I tapped out.
So you know about Nate and everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is that he's a character on that show?
Yeah, he's one of the main guys in Gossip Girl. So I just can't like unsee that when I look at him and I'm like, oh my God, Nate, what are you doing?
That's hilarious. I guess because he's just so different from Nate. I mean, visually and character-wise, that it was because Nate was such like this passive, pretty boy, good boy, you know, goody two-shoes character. And I mean, maybe he changed later on in the series, but for most of what I see, he kind of still was like this knight in shining armor character, and the Deep's such a piece of trash from the get-go. So it was kind of easy. And really visually, like his eyes are very stunning and like stand out. Aside from that, he even looks so different, you know, from that character. But that's his story, that whole way where they do that of.
It's weird because he's like so handsome, like good looking actor. And then his whole thing is he thinks he's disgusting.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, it's really cool the way they did that.
It's so real, and I love how he's kind of, I mean, you know, the serious moments with his character of that realization that, you know, when his, you know, Gil voice is telling him like, oh, this woman would totally have been interested in you. You were the one who shut that down. It's like that moment of having to face that you actually created all the problems and misery in your life, which is, it's like, it's a really compelling story. I mean, it's a lot of it, you know, he's the comic relief in a lot of ways. But there's so much depth there. Like they could easily have made a story much more superficial.
I think we've made a mistake by like not giving context to anything. We're just jumping in. Like I think a lot of people are just like, "What is happening?" So I think we need to go back a little bit. So, Cecil, season 1, did you enjoy it?
Yes, I did. Like I was saying before, there were a lot of like it got me right off the bat with the girlfriend exploding on the sidewalk. I was kind of hooked on that then, and then you know. Finding out that his wife was still alive with the kid was a great fucking, you know, ender. Another shocking moment was him just burning out that woman's head with his eyes. That was a shock. There was a lot of good shockers. Now, there were like the first 3 episodes, they had the head blowing up was a shocker, but it still wasn't. It didn't have the weight. I don't know. I'm waiting for something a little bit bigger. The whale was definitely a fucking great scene. The whale exploding.
God, that was amazing.
My God.
That was a great scene, but there's another scene, something else happened in that plane, like when they let the plane of people die. Like I mean, it was just the shocking parts of that season just so far were way heavier. You know, I don't know, there was just like a bigger weight to like him like fucking being like, fuck it, you're all gonna die, like the whole plane, like that, like finding out he was the bad guy, him killing her. Then finding out that the wife was still alive, she had a kid. I was kind of cool when the kid powered up.
Yeah, that was.
He does.
Yeah, I like. See, the Homelander is such a fucking cunt, but he's really growing on me. Like I like that. I like he's such a good bad guy. He's
a great bad guy.
He's my favorite character on the show.
Mine too. Yeah.
Did you guys ever watch Banshee?
No, I want to though. I mean,
really
I was reading up about it. It's Homelander and a different show.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have any powers. It's like he's like a criminal. He's a criminal who he's like on the run, and he witnesses he meets a sheriff going to town to start his first day, and he sees the sheriff get murdered, and then he goes. So he's like a career criminal, and he goes to this town and pretends to be the sheriff.
Interesting.
What's
fucking cool? It's a cool show.
Jesse, season 1.
Season 1 had me. I was hooked the entire time. I didn't even know like where each episode broke in the first one because I think I just watched it straight through, like one big long movie, and was hooked the entire time.
I remember we texted each other.
Oh my god, it was just so compelling. And I'm with Cecil. There was just these shocks you did not see coming, these gut punches. And I think like there's something about having those in the first season. It kind of makes it hard to have that same type of impact moving forwards because like what's going to be more shocking than the fucked up stuff Homelander did in the first season.
The plane, what's going to top the plane? Like children begging them, like to save their kids, and then they're like, "Fuck this shit, man."
Yeah, I mean, when we rewatched that one, it was still like such a gut punch. We rewatched the whole first season over the past like couple weeks. It was still such a gut punch, that whole scene. Oh my god.
Now, one thing I want to address, because this is a problem in the community that people keep making up shit about, the wokeness factor of The Boys.
Mm-hmm.
Season 2 so far, is it woke?
No. The showrunner said some kind of like white men are the worst thing that ever happened, or some kind. I don't know what the fuck. It was a typical like fucking SJW take on the world, but I forget exactly what he said, but it made a lot of people pissed off. Like,
well, I'll bet you whoever starts spewing that shit probably didn't watch through the end of episode 3 because you really
they don't watch any of the shit anymore.
They probably don't watch anything. They see a couple things, they watch a clip where they hear someone else's take and they fucking parrot, oh, it's this, it's that, it's whatever. Because like so far, I think the most surprising thing is the word. It's not the shock value of Homeland or anything, but has been this, what's her face, Stormfront.
Yeah.
And the way they've been unveiling her character.
And one thing people need to address too is you always want to watch a villain die.
Oh yeah.
But you got to see him be a villain.
Exactly.
So before everyone's like, oh my God, this woman's been character swapped and emasculated. The Boys shows no allegiance to male or female. If you're, what's her face? Pop Claw. She fucking died.
She died.
What's her face?
Pathetically murdered. Stillwell gets her eyes burned out.
If Stillwell won and this whole girl power thing wasn't taken as because here's the thing. The show is the perfect show for 2020 because all the crap everyone in the fandom menace fucking hates, the show makes fun of it. So if you've been duped into believing that this show is anything serious like that, you've been lied to by people on the internet.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so far I haven't seen any and I always roll my eyes when I hear some kind of bullshit like that. Why do you have to fucking force this in? And I didn't get that feeling not even once during all 3.
Yeah. I was actually surprised by that one line with Stormfront where she's just like, oh yeah, why does it matter when they're trying to do the whole girl power thing?
Yeah.
And she's like, shouldn't matter if you have a badge or a dick.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa.
It was so funny because that's why I say she's been the most compelling, surprising thing. Because when they first presented her, I thought, someone in the chat said, I thought that she was going to be a parody of wokeness. And then she has that line in that interview, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe she's just going to be that, more nuanced character who, rejects the because really what they were trying to put in their mouths is the woke narrative of the girl power and the this and women are better and women are this. And I'm like, oh, wait, maybe she's actually turning the trope on its head and is going to be the one who rejects the forced girl power, the forced woke.
Yeah, she's got the shaved side of the head. She looks like every SJW chick, but then
she's rejecting that narrative.
But then the turnout is she's a racist or some shit.
But now we find out that she's actually. I'm not convinced she's gonna be racist.
Who's she racist against?
Well, I mean, she destroyed an entire housing project and threw that black dude out the window for no reason, and then.
Let's talk about her character. Now, since we're on her character, so for anybody who hasn't watched, Stormfront is the newest member of the 7. This was something they set up of
right away.
What's her face? Stillwell's replacement was trying to bring in diversity into the superhero front. Homelander was not having it, so the big boss guy comes in over her head to bring in and over Homelander's head to bring in this Stormfront character. Now, a tidbit, and this is what we're thinking, what Jeff's thinking is the smoking gun right now is the Chekhov's gun right now was a little bit of information we got towards the beginning. You want to take it away with your theory?
Yeah, I think she's a Holocaust victim. I think she was experimented on because the boys in the first season, they never go on about where it comes from, like Compound V or from God. Now you find out that it's a Nazi scientist that built Vought from the ground up.
Basically,
so you think she's like 60 years, like
I think she's
around since
she's probably 100 years old. She's probably the character that's on the Budweiser ad that you brought that up.
Yeah. So I think she's that character Liberty that they remember it's who's the one who says it? Oh, is it Mallory? It was Mallory that Butcher's on the phone with, and she says, "Have you ever heard of Liberty?" And he's like, "What? No reason. You only see a hood with a shadow." So I'm on board with what Jeff says, that basically she's one of these original experiments. Yeah. I think she was Liberty. And I think she ended up disgraced and maybe like written out of history or something because she took shit too far in whatever way. And she
good one.
Jabba the Cuck says, so she's the same age as Cecil.
Exactly. And now she's rebranded herself as the Stormfront because maybe she's immortal or ageless or whatever. No one knows who she is.
She is also set up to be a foil. She's not even a foil for Homelander. I think she's gonna set up to make Homelander more palatable. Because there's going to be a greater evil and a greater threat. And his reasons are going to be fucking petty and stupid. I mean, you can go back and watch the scene at the very beginning where the focus group is talking about America versus, worldwide. He's like, no, America.
Wouldn't it be a kicker if Homelander has to team up with the boys because he's not powerful to face Stormfront and Vought on his own?
I think it'd be stupid.
Is he Australian?
Like all his season 1 arc.
But I mean like reluctantly. I mean, no,
Australian.
Is Anthony Starr Australian?
Like they're like a situation where they're trying to use each other, and both think like we'll do this for now because we need each other, each trying to get the upper hand. Still, I mean, ultimately, still one's going to destroy the other. Obviously, Homelander would be the one to get a ship pushed in. Hopefully, I mean, I don't know. They could go with the.
I just think so. Homelander's going to.
People in the chat are saying he's New Zealand. I for some reason I was like this. I never noticed it during Banshee, but I don't know. Maybe because he had so many scenes with the kid.
Yeah,
and I was just like, I think this guy. For some reason, I thought he was Australia.
Carl Urban's Australian, but
he's not hiding his accent though.
No, but I didn't.
Ooh, okay. I totally looked this up, so I have all the information on Stormfront now.
Okay, well, don't spoil it because I want to see it. I want to see it. That's Anna. We're like, all these theories. Anna's like, I found out all the answers.
That's spoiler girl.
Don't you dare spoil it for the rest of us.
I didn't read this shit on purpose. I was like, this is literally the only.
I tried reading it, and I opened up the book, and the second page is this intense orgy, and I was like, what the fuck? And I'm sitting next to my dad, and I'm like, nope, not reading this right now.
So, Space Face, did you watch The Tick? Because The Tick wasn't nihilistic at all, but enough people didn't watch it, so that's why.
The Amazon Tick show was really good.
I think it's better than The Boys. It's just different.
It was really fucking good. I'm really upset that it got canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to make a video about a year ago. All the best comic book based shit isn't from Disney or DC. I think Amazon's got The Boys and Amazon's got The Tick. And they're like, well, what about the Spider-Man movie? The Spider-Man movies aren't that great anymore. The characters aren't really true to form, and the characters aren't interesting. I said to Jesse,
the MCU Spider-Man is not Spider-Man.
Thank you.
He doesn't act like Spider-Man. There's nothing Spider-Man about him. He's like Iron Man Jr. He's not a genius. He's like a whiny.
Jeff, I have something to tell you since you guys are both such huge Spider-Man fans. So the Munchkin, she had only seen the cartoon Spider-Man and only seen the Marvel MCU Spider-Man. And I was like, Bella, do you want to watch Spider-Man? And she's like, yeah, I've seen it. She's like, you want to watch Far From Home? And I'm like, no, child, you are watching Spider-Man.
Oh, what, Toby?
And I swear, like, she had more fun watching that Spider-Man than like going to Disneyland. She was just like, this is so cool. Who's the Green Goblin? All, yeah, you want to watch the next one? And she's like, there's another one. And she loved it. I'm like, this is Spider-Man.
Yeah, that was true to the, to the comics, to the character. There's nothing about this character that's like reminds me of Peter Parker at all.
I've never seen Uncle Ben die or any of that because they don't have that in the MCU.
No.
At least from the ones I've seen.
And also, he had no spider sense, and it made no sense. Like, the whole fucking thing is spider sense is like a huge part of being Spider-Man.
Well, Cecil, everyone today is so enamored by the stupid fucking jokes because he's not Deadpool light. I mean, you've been reading comics before Deadpool existed.
Yeah.
I remember Spider-Man before the Deadpool influence.
But that's only because I could read when I was, 3.
Long story short, though, like everyone that's propagating, like they prop up the Tom Holland Spider-Man. He's a fine actor. I like him, but the shit that Sony did really didn't bring the character to life at all.
Not at all. I mean, he's just not Spider-Man. He's a character. You don't get this sense that he's a genius. Like Peter Parker was kind of a big nerd that was hated because he was, he's probably like had Asperger's kind of. He was kind of off-putting. He was a nerd, and there's none of that. There's just none of that shit. And he's so heavily relied on gadgets, and that's not what he was.
Dude, back in the day, all he had were his web shooters and the spider signal.
That he invented, that he, spent the time. Did he invent them in this one, or did Tony Stark give it to him?
Tony Stark gave him the suit with all the shit, the AI. He invented the web shooters, and Tony Stark invented the spider signal.
Okay.
Dude, this character's intense. I just finished reading up on Stormfront.
It's so interesting to me how studio, like, I get the whole drive in a studio to be like, our leading man has to be this hot, attractive dude and whatnot, but it's so funny to me how, and I don't think Tom Holland wouldn't have been up for the part if they had written it better. I think he still would have nailed it. I think he can play, awkward and weird and whatnot, but it's just so, like, it's so funny to me that the past 2 iterations they've felt the need to make Peter Parker this like suave, attractive dude. Tom
Holland looks like Peter Parker. I think the other one, the Garfield kid,
he is not cute.
That was not Peter Parker. The whole point of Peter Parker was like he was always punching above his weight. He was just an ordinary looking dude, which I think Tom Holland kind of is. Yeah. I mean, he's not like that other kid would look like a model,
No, I mean Andrew Garfield should be playing Harry Osborn if he's playing.
Right. So the other kid looked like a model. Like this kid looks ordinary enough, and then like the whole point of Peter Parker is he's always had these dynamite girlfriends, but he's been this like ordinary dude, and that was kind of the fun thing with him. He was the ordinary guy with fucking ordinary problems, but he had these superpowers, and he also had super pussy power because he always had girlfriends. And it was like fun to read, like this guy who, had all these other problems in his life, but he always had hot chicks.
He always had a hot chick. It's that big dick confidence that you get when you're secretly rocking a Spidey suit.
When you could throw a city bus up half.
Exactly. This is pretty much. It reads the same as big dick confidence. The point is that women are attracted to that, like mosquitoes to fucking a flame.
I disagree about Andrew Garfield having a closer story to the comic. Did he wrestle? Because in the comic book, Spider-Man wrestled. He wrestled Crusher Hogan. Yeah, he wrestled Bonesaw McGraw in the movie, but who gives a shit? He still was a wrestler. Did Uncle Ben teach him a lot of stuff, and both of them? Yeah, to a degree. But he also wasn't an angsty teenager that was, in the comic, he wasn't even responsible for Uncle Ben.
I thought the Garfield one was the absolute fucking worst one. I'm like, did you ever pick up a fucking Spider-Man comic book? Peter Parker at his graduation skateboards across the fucking stage and makes out with the hottest chick in school, and now everybody applauds. I'm like, that's the opposite of Peter Parker was fucking getting shit thrown at him his whole fucking high school career. Exactly. He's not skateboarding across the fucking stage, making out with the hot chick while everybody applauds him. I was like, you guys never even fucking read the comic.
No, I mean, that's the whole thing is too. It was at a time that Spider-Man was, popping. I mean, the time the Raimi movies came out, that's why Tobey Maguire was such a great choice. This was a period of time where like nerds were still treated the way nerds were treated. Yeah. And I like things have changed somewhat. Even during my time in school, there was sort of a rise of the nerd kind of a movement. But when the Raimi ones came out, that's what the kids are going to want to see. The people relate to. I mean, it's the people who can't relate to having that alienating experience in high school. 98% of those kids are having a shit time in their regular life where they feel like they peaked in high school. And so now they can relate to, this sort of outcasted younger Peter Parker. And the rest of us fucking lived that shit through high school. So it's always been relatable. And it's like we have the hot suave superheroes. We have the rich superheroes. We have the perfect superheroes. We have the The guys who are great, whether they're gorgeous, whether they're in their costume or they're not. And Peter Parker is like an everyman's superhero. That's the way Spider-Man is too. You're friendly neighborhood
ordinary schmo.
Yeah.
And it was
not a model.
That's why when you have like Tom Holland being like, he's just an ordinary schmo with a super suit from Tony Stark, and he has fucking, the Avengers on speed dial. He could get like that was never his like.
But that's
the whole point. The first fucking run of like the
whoa. Gwen Stacy dying is the most important part of starting Spider-Man's story. I guess the other 120 issues that happened before it wasn't not Spider-Man. It's Uncle Ben's death, dude.
Yeah, Uncle Ben's death is the big. Let's listen. Every goddamn Batman movie, every single one of them has those pearls fucking shattering, and you had to fucking skip over Uncle Ben's death. Come on, man. Like it's. But Joe Biden. Come on, man.
It's another great example of the difference between equality and equity, right? Spider-Man is a character of equality. Could be anybody. The spider, it's random that he's the one who got bitten by the spider. It could have been anybody. It could have happened to anybody.
And that's his appeal.
And the MCU Spider-Man, that's equity. That's someone who's just this young, useless kid who got handed everything. Someone just flew down and literally handed him all of his assets, everything. He didn't have to work for a goddamn bit of that.
The Andrew Garfield also one had him like having this super. I mean, it does happen in the comics, 30 years after it started, but they're also like, oh, he's not just, Spider-Man. He's also got these super spy parents and this hidden fucking lab. You're missing the whole point. Just do like street level crime and him building up.
That's the thing.
Bigger fucking. They did a few things right with Tom Holland, like him being like, this is out of my league type of stuff. You know what I mean? And being like, hey, I'm not built for this stuff. Except they fucked it up because he was already like Nick Fury said, he's like, you've been out of space. So fuck
By
off.
the way, Gwen Stacy, yes, appears before Mary Jane, but Mary Jane appears in issue 42, and they already have this flirtatious relationship. Yeah. He technically dates Mary Jane before he ever dates Gwen Stacy. So I'm just saying, like, we keep like actually missing the point completely. Like, there's just factually wrong at this point on certain Spider-Man things. So
yeah, I dig your way. You're the Spider-Man dude. That's your.
Because what Mary Jane's first of all appearance is issue 42. Gwen Stacy appears when Ditko draws her, but she's just some bitchy college girl, just like Harry Osborn, some douchey, spineless.
I also don't like that Flash Thompson is like just like another nerd.
I don't either. Flash Thompson's supposed to beat his ass and treat him like.
And oh my God, the Andrew Garfield, is it Andrew Garfield? That's his name?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Andrew Garfield.
Okay, yeah. That Flash Thompson scene where he's like fucking playing basketball with him, and it's like, no one's gonna notice that you're fucking dunking from fucking,
right? Oh,
like this guy can't pull the ball out of your hand while you're doing this. It's like maybe that kid's Spider-Man over there. Fucking, he's just using all of his superpowers in front of everyone for like 10 minutes.
Well, the only reason I brought up the MCU, and we did go down a Spider-Man hole, but I wanted to say, like, watching the seven, with the exception of Black Noir, have more depth than most of the Avengers. Like, Iron Man and Captain America have a lot going on in their characters, Thor to some degree, but really Black Widow, we haven't seen her movie yet. But what we've seen in the Avengers movies, she's just what she is. Yeah, Hawkeye has a little more, but you have way more about a guy like Homelander.
By the way, Jabba is saying he goes to a genius school, Cecil. Well, yeah, but that he shouldn't be going to a genius school. He should be a genius in a regular school because he can't afford to get into like the good programs. And that's why he's a fish out of water, because he is smarter than everyone. Putting him in a school full of geniuses also diminishes the character. Like, he always felt like an outsider. Peter Parker's an outsider. Putting a genius kid into a school of geniuses fucking defeats the purpose.
See, that thing worked for like Miles Morales, the way they did that into the Spider-Verse, because it wasn't about him feeling like a fish out of water because of his intellect. It was him out of his socioeconomic element and whatnot. I'm like, that worked, but I agree with you 100%. Like that. The idea of Spider-Man touches on this thing that I guess maybe doesn't really exist in the world anymore, but definitely did for a very, very long time. Where
it definitely does.
Well, that's the thing is, as a kid, it doesn't matter what took you out of the status quo. if you didn't fit into the status quo, you were an outcast.
He was an outcast.
Exactly.
Whether it was putting a genius kid
everyone else or smarter, whether it was because you liked different things, dressed a different way, whatever it was, being smarter than everyone else set you apart from everyone else. As a kid, anything that makes you different is a reason to ostracize you. If you take away the number one thing that makes him different, because obviously his classmates don't know he's Spider-Man, then who is he and why is he relevant? Why do we care about his story outside of the costume?
Sorry, I'm just laughing at Cecil as me child support.
Yeah, so they kind of butchered him in the MCU, and I know a lot of people like the character, and I like the actor. I think he's a nice guy, and he's doing well with but it's just they fucking missed the point. Like, he's not Spider-Man. Like, Spider-Man was not. He was not. The other thing is, he was trying to get Spider-Man was always disrespected by all the other superheroes for at least the first 10 years of his run while he was with like Ditko and Lee was right. Like, he wanted to get respected by the Fantastic Four, and they were like, no. The Avengers were like, no. And this one, he's like instantly like, we need Spider-Man. Like, no one fucking thought of Spider-Man as like anything. Like, that was part of his appeal of being still an outsider, even in the superhero community. They were like, "Nah, kid, you're not up to snuff for the Fantastic Four. You're not up to snuff for the Avengers. You're too young. You're too." So it was always him being an outsider trying to fit in, whether it was him as Peter Parker or him as Spider-Man with the other superheroes. He kind of was always. He did eventually, in his personal life and in the Spider-Man life, become accepted and become a leader, but it took decades, for that to happen. And they just are like, no, he's part of the Avengers right away. He's in a school for geniuses. He's got a hot girlfriend. It's like, no, that's not the way shit works out for this character. You're writing him wrong.
Not to change the subject, even though I'm changing the subject back to what the subject is supposed to be.
Wait, how do we go on to Spider-Man?
I don't know.
I was just waiting for him to get best.
Somebody asked something about Black. So we're talking about Black Noir in the chat. And
guys, do not spoil Black Noir for these guys. Do not do it, Jesse.
I don't know anything.
We don't
know anything.
Talk about him. It will spoil everything.
If he's not a black guy, I'm going to be so mad.
Anna, the only thing I know about him is what we've seen through season 3. I don't know anything else about him. Season 2. Sorry, season 2. Episode 3 of season 2. All I know is what we've seen through episode 3. No, I don't know anything else, and I don't want to know anything else.
That is going to be the biggest thing ever if they
stop even talking about it. Because you're talking about by talking around it, you spoil things. So
it's awesome, okay? Like the rest of the boys, it's awesome. It's going to be awesome.
I believe you. I believe that easily. Because then for the rest of us who don't read up on all of the answers immediately as soon as the questions are asked, I don't think you've gone to this part. I don't think you've got to this part in the series yet. But if you know or have any insight into the answer, don't answer. Okay. So there's a part in the beginning of episode 3 where the news breaks. That Vought manufactured superheroes. Compound V. Starlight successfully leaks this to the media and all that.
Right?
And what?
He's laughing, right, when it happens.
That was my question. What was your reaction?
Well, you can't see his face. He's either laughing or crying.
Right? I thought laughing.
I thought laughing too.
I thought laughing. Okay, cool. That's what we all.
Somebody already spoiled it in the chat. It's Vince McMahon as Black Man.
Son of a bitch!
God damn
it! Was me, Austin. Oh, I gotta show you that.
It was me, Austin.
One day Jesse will understand the greatness. So basically, this whole storyline, the Undertaker is this evil guy, and he's been controlling the whole WWF. And he's like, but I answer to a higher power. And the whole time you're like, and the guy's like, I am the higher power. And he goes to pull off his mask, and it's Vince McMahon. He goes, it was me, Austin. And the guy in commentary goes, oh, son of a bitch, like that. And the other guy goes, oh, like
we got it.
It was hilarious.
Oh, that's funny.
We'll watch it when we're drunk.
Wait, Jesse, I'm not allowed to answer this question.
Okay, cool. Cool.
How about
I'm asking? Like,
I don't even want to look at the chat right now. So
no, do not look at the chat. But am I allowed to answer? No.
Wait, doesn't Noir mean black?
It does.
Yeah, his name is Black. His name is Black. All right. So Anna, so you know the answer to the question.
Yes, I do.
We're out of the chat. I can't see the chat right now.
Right, do you want to know?
It's better not.
I don't want to know anything.
I don't want to know either. All right, don't answer.
I have 2 things right now in entertainment that keep me happy. The Boys, and the new Tony Hawk game. Other than that, most of the crap we talk about in our sphere is garbage. Mulan's going to suck ass. It kind of already is. And they're making up shit. It's the next political controversy that we're all going to love. So many things out today aren't worth a damn. I'm hoping Bond is good, but I got to see it I got to reserve judgment until I watch it.
Mm-hmm. So I'm curious now. I'm really interested actually to read up more on this Mulan controversy too, because
it's so intense.
I can unlock 2 free weeks of
I don't
YouTube.
know. I didn't like. I mean, well, I guess Mulan was good. The original cartoon, it was okay.
It was great. I'll make a man out of you. Come on.
Yeah, it was okay.
Okay, wait. Don't you have like nieces? Have they watched it? Do they like it?
They love it.
Okay, there you go.
Sorry, I had to mute myself. Sidebar for a second. Yeah, I know. I'm the worst.
The worst.
Wait, was it good, Jesse?
Okay, wait, hold on. You watched Anna? You watched Treasure Planet?
Yes.
Is that Disney?
Yes.
I'll watch that on Disney Plus.
That one, I'll be honest, it was never my favorite, but because when it came out, I was in a big princess hype, and so if a thing didn't have a princess in it, I did not want to watch it.
How old were you when it came out?
I don't remember, but that was when my bowl cut was really intense. So I felt like I had to compensate with I only like princesses. I only want to wear princess dresses. I had all of the toys. And I remember McDonald's, when you got an action figure, it had a piece to the map. And so if you got all the action figures, which I had, you could build your map.
What was the other one? What was the other movie that came out around the same time?
Atlantis.
Was that Disney too?
Disney, and Mr. Spock was in it, so that one is good. And there is a princess in that one as well. But then I think are you talking about Literature Devil's post the other day?
What is that?
Oh, where it showed Treasure Planet and then Titan AE.
I didn't see either one of those.
Oh, I liked Titan AE when I was a kid, and then I watched it as an adult, and I'm like, whoa, this does not hold up. But if you watch it as a kid and you don't realize certain things, it's good.
All right. So if I have a head injury, I should watch that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. But I'll never remember because of the head injury.
Because you'll have a head injury at that point. Yeah. So,
Right. Well, I'm counting on the 3 of you to remind me.
There you go.
Oh, we are so going to lie to you.
If I remember you.
We're definitely going to lie to you. Don't worry.
Watch Titan AE.
No, we're going to show you 2012, and we're going to tell you that really happened.
Yeah, we're like, this is what the year 2012 is like.
It's better than the real 2020.
It's right. I'll take that 2012 over 2020. This 2020.
2020 is great.
Wrong
with it.
So, what was I going to say? I was going to ask, who are your favorite characters so far? Everyone from The Boys. Seasons 1 or 2. Yeah.
Homelander #1. I like Frenchie and Mother's Milk, and I actually like the Stormfront chick.
We did know that it's from Mother's Milk. Go over that sometime.
Are you talking about me?
No. Yeah. I was just. We were just having an aside. We were talking about how that mask makes your face look really thin.
Oh my god!
I need to get
my mask.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I hate to cover my face. My skin is so supple these days. It's really,
you can send us pics later. And by us, I mean Anna. You can send Anna pics. I'm sure she appreciates the suppleness of your.
It's a goddamn. I should fill the inside of this with moisturizer just to.
You know what you should do, Cecil? You should do one of those face masks, and then you could just come on the show and then have the face mask on the whole time.
Just make sure it's a color other than black, or people are gonna get the wrong impression.
Well, you can do charcoal mask. Oh, you can get the avocado mask, so it's all green.
There you go. You can Hulk out.
Yeah, I could use my green screen on it. I'll just get a green screen mask.
Mm.
I have green screen. I could take you all to a special place right now.
Yay.
To the lesbian forest.
Oh my god, no.
Are there lesbian seagulls there?
Yes. Oh, look.
What?
Oh, this is just me in a tuxedo in a forest.
Okay.
From a wedding I went to.
That's pretty baller. I want to wear a tuxedo.
Thank you.
I do too.
You look pretty smashing in a tux there, Anna.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Do you still have that tuxedo?
I do.
Anna hasn't grown since she was actually 9.
Oh, I know, but I mean, it's like we don't talk about everything ever. What I was gonna say is you should wear it to the next Bond movie.
Thanks for taking me to
I
the wedding.
wore a suit to see Skyfall when it premiered.
Nice.
Excellent
It's
choice.
like Pee Wee Herman at the wedding.
Oh
Thanks for taking me to this wedding, Daddy.
man.
Oh fuck! I used to watch the shit out of that show. Jesse and I watched the intro the other night, and she's like, "Why? Why did you watch this?"
Excuse me, miss. Are you the waiter? I know you are, but what am I?
Oh my god, that's something else. Anna, favorite characters.
Let's talk about your big butt, Simone.
Homelander and Starlight.
Mm.
Because I like that he's the villain, and then she's like all innocent, but she's trying to work on the inside, but then also like still trying to be good.
She's really interesting. Yeah, I mean, she's had such a fun it's fun to watch so far in season 2 because it's like we really watched Huey grow up a lot in season 1, and in season 2 we're kind of watching him still struggle with the decisions he's making, which works for me. But then we're like, it's so funny because like Starlight didn't really, she like lost a lot of innocence in season 1, but she didn't really learn how to stand up to it until the end of the season. And so now season 2, she's kind of like late season 1 Huey, where she's like, you're like, oh shit, you a badass now. It's kind of fun to watch her like own that.
She fucked up. She fucked A-Train and that other dude who cuts his
the way she just stared into A-Train's face and was like, do what you want, I don't give a fuck. I was like, yeah.
I haven't seen that yet, but I'm excited about that.
It's a great moment. And that's what I'm like saying with the show. There's so many moments where you see choices a character makes, revelations a character has, like important growth moments just in their face, just in the pacing of the scene, how long they hold it. Just little things like that just are so compelling and give you so much, which is like to go back to, another show that people were so crazy about, which I gotta say was never keen. I know everyone says Game of Thrones didn't go out, like it was great, it was the best show ever and went off the rails, after George R. R. Martin stepped back. No, that Game of Thrones has always been a dog shit, poor man's excuse for the books. It has always taken way too long for everything to unfold. It's like the opposite of good filmic storytelling, where they want to fucking hang on every scene. Everything has to be 8 goddamn minutes of dialogue and it was 2 seconds of action in the whole episode. You're sitting here, you're like, we only have 2 episodes left in this season. When is that dragon showing up? Hello, when are we getting this goddamn
Dragon Ball
battle?
Z, essentially.
It basically is. And like to go, flip over to The Boys, where this is a show with so little fat on it. It's just like one thing after another after another. There are very few moments where you're sitting there going, all right, let's get on with it. You're kind of riveted at every moment, and everything takes the right amount of time. I think they stop to breathe for the appropriate pauses, and then it's just right back to the races. There's really very little fat on this show.
Yeah, I mean,
but I haven't read the book, so I can't be like disappointed in like.
True.
I think that's interesting though, Cecil, that we have half of the panel. Well, actually, not well. Anna knows, but 3/4 of the panel haven't read the comic, and I don't think we really show much of an interest before consuming the show.
Yeah,
because me and Anna talked a few months ago. I was about to order the whole thing because we were going to do like a show every week that compared it to the comic.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I kind of didn't want to read the comic because, like I said before, it's one of the few fucking comic properties where I don't know what's going to happen next. So it's kind of fun. But we were going to compare it back and forth. But after Dynamite, kicked my cover, I didn't want to just drop a couple $100 on Dynamite shit.
It's a reasonable decision.
Valid,
it's a reasonable. I usually don't
no.
give money to people who do me dirty. So
Yeah. But this will be fun. Well, I kind of like going into it blind, and I kind of like Anna having to keep her mouth shut, even though it's so hard for her. And she'll be squirming to spoil shit. But it's a weird situation. Normally whenever I'm watching anything comic related, I'm like, You know what's gonna happen next? I'm like a dick, you know. I'm like fucking a know-it-all. And this is one of the few times I get to be clueless.
Yeah, that's nice. I like being in the dark. I like the revelations, and that's like, it's fun because they do dramatic irony in the show really well, which I think keeps it fresh. And so even when there's not a big twist coming, there's still that sense of like, I know something, I'm waiting for the characters to learn it. So you're in this sense of suspense where you even when you know what's coming, you're waiting for it to happen. You know, you're like, oh shit, this is gonna happen. I think they set that up on a short term and a long term. So you have moments that have like a very immediate payoff, and then you have little things too, like setting up this. I mean, just the way that Homelander puts the fear of God into the Stillwell replacement. I gotta learn this character's name at some point.
I just call her the redhead.
The redhead.
Who? Queen Maeve?
What?
No, the business lady, the one that has
the assistant. She used to be the PR. She was the PR person.
Who's that actress? She reminds me of Joan Cusack for some reason.
She kind of reminds me of a young. She's kind of a lot like a young Joan Cusack. But she like. You know, when Homelander shows up, you know, she's all this like, I'm in control. I've got this. Hooray. And Homelander just fucking derails that and, you know, makes the blind superhero go deaf and like.
That was so fucked up.
Oh, it was so messed up. That was probably the first, oh shit, didn't see that coming moment. You know, I still saw like, I mean, because so like Homelander obviously murdered Stillwell, but they had a very specific relationship. And so far we've seen him, you know, he goes outside of the you know, corporate structure to do his own shit whenever he wants to, but we've always seen him sort of play the game. You know, he smiles, he nods, he says okay, and then walks off and does whatever he's going to do anyway. And so
I guys want to puke when he drank the boob milk.
Oh, that was disgusting.
But he heated it up at least.
At least he heated it up. But the way he just shoved that right in her face from the get-go, that was for me the first like, oh crap, didn't see that coming moment of the series. Definitely not as big of a revelation as what we saw in the first one, but it was like this gloves off moment for Homelander of like, oh shit. And I'm loving the power struggle between him and the big boss now. I think it's so fun because all we've done is seen people cower in fear from Homelander, and to watch people now stand up to him. You've got, you know.
Wait, do you want to hear something weird right now? I was looking up that actress's name, and there is Ann Cusack is in this series, and it's fucking the sister of Joan and John Cusack.
But it's not her.
She's what's her name? Starlight's mother.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Isn't that fucking weird?
That is weird. That's so bizarre.
I didn't even know she was. I'm like, all of a sudden I saw the name Cusack, and I'm like, oh shit, that must be her. And
I didn't even know that she existed. That was like when I watched BlacKkKlansman, and I couldn't effing figure. I was like, is that Steve Buscemi? No, that's not Steve Buscemi. Is that Steve Buscemi? No, it's not Steve. It's his fucking brother. I didn't know Steve Buscemi had a goddamn brother who acted.
Just like Linda Hamilton.
Apparently, he has multiple brothers who all look like him. So.
Oh yeah, did you know about Linda Hamilton's twin?
Yeah,
she just passed away.
You know, did you ever see Ghost Dog, Jeff or Jesse, or
see what?
Ghost Dog
with Forrest Whitaker?
Yeah.
No.
Once, many years ago.
All right, there's the scene where the mobster saves where Ghost Dog saves the mobster, I think, and it's him as a young, it's Forrest Whitaker as a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
The kid who played him as a teenager is Forrest Whitaker's son, who is like a fucking exact duplicate of him. It was the weirdest shit when you're watching the movie, because it was before when they could do de-aging and stuff, and it was just like, damn, they found a fucking guy who looks exactly like him that's like a teenager, but it was his son. It's like an exact double of him. I'm not going anywhere with this. I just thought I'd throw that in there. Sorry.
No, don't apologize at all. I want to rewatch that movie, to be honest with you.
I love that movie. I've seen it a bunch of times.
So I had this shitty stepdad in the 90s, but he was obsessed with finding that movie. So he would go ask about it for like, we would go around something like, do you have Ghost Dog Way of the Samurai? And he would just ask for months and months. And then one time, like, yeah, we have that. And so he's like, oh my God. So we watched it. It was cool. I mean,
It's real. It's better on like second and third viewing. It's a Jim Jarmusch movie.
Jim Jarmusch joint.
Yep, it's good. It's good shit.
I'm a Jim Wynorski fan myself, but hey. Speaking of, have you guys? We'll talk about cinema for just a brief second, Cecil. Since it's been like forever since we've talked, have you seen any good movies lately?
In the theater?
Well, in general, I mean, we don't even have the option to go to theaters.
What was the last thing I saw? I don't fucking even remember. I'm trying to think of the last movie I saw. Everything I've seen, I've already seen. Like I rewatch stuff now.
Have you checked out the new Bill and Ted?
No,
I have no interest in it.
Really?
I don't know why.
Are you not a Bill and Ted person?
I am.
Then why?
And I met Alex Winter once at a bar in Lower East Side called Max Fish.
Is
and
he cool?
The weird part is they had a Johnny Mnemonic pinball machine in there. and he was leaning against the fucking Johnny Mnemonic. I don't know what I was on that night. I might have been I was on something like a hallucinogenic.
So you're saying this could all have just been an elaborate dream?
No, it's 100% real because
sure.
Were you drinking some of that tea that the Deep drinks?
Yeah, I might have been on shrooms actually. Yeah, that's how I make it. Yeah. But
Cecil gets shit delisted.
But what happened was we're in Max Fish and and fucking I'm looking at the Johnny Mnemonic pinball machine and I'm just like watching it. No one's playing it, but I'm just watching they had a whole bunch of shit going on it. And then there's this dude drinking like, I don't know, fucking gin and tonic leaning against it. And I'm staring at him and I'm like, it's fucking Alex Winter. And I'm just like, all of a sudden we lock eyes and he looks at the machine and it's got like Keanu Reeves on. And he goes, I know it's weird, right? I'm like, yeah.
You should have just gone, excellent.
I was like, yeah, this is fucking weird. But I know it was him because I was with people who then like started a conversation with him, like a light conversation. We don't bother anybody. But fucking, yeah, it's verified. But yeah, it was like my brain wasn't putting it together. Like there's Keanu, there's fucking Alex Winter, and I'm just staring at the shit.
There's Bill. There's Ted.
And I think he saw my eyes like all of a sudden put it together, and he's like already looking at me smiling, and I'm like,
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Is there any reason you don't have any interest in the new one?
I don't know. No.
At least you're honest. That's all I ever ask out of people.
I don't have any animosity towards Keanu or Alex Winter or the series. I just I think I don't care.
Did you? Okay, so you saw the second one. I thought this one was way better than
better
Bogus Journey.
I agree. I think this is way better.
But the first one's still the best.
Is Death in this one?
Yeah, plays a big part.
I'll check it out.
Everybody that's alive comes back.
It's a lot of fun.
Ted's dad.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff and I both thoroughly enjoyed it. I teared up at the end. So
was Ted's stepmother in it?
Yep.
All right, I'll check it out.
No,
see how she held up.
Good. Anna, have you checked it out yet?
No, I need to do something on the somethings when it appears on the magical bay of
oh yeah, you're being really slick right now.
What you're saying is you're hoping to discover it when you're sailing about the seven seas.
Exactly, and the versions I've seen are not up to par with the quality that I prefer, and so I was like, okay, maybe because Peaches, he wanted to watch it because he loves Bill and Ted, and he wanted to watch them and show them to the Munchkin.
Yeah,
she didn't like them.
Oh no!
And so, she doesn't like movies with real people in it. She's still on the cartoon kick. So if there's real people in it, she just is bored.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But
we were going to rent it and it's $20 to rent it. I was like, fuck this shit.
And I'll Venmo you $25 and you can buy it.
Was Joan of Arc in it?
No, they didn't bring back the
not the time travel people, just all the like normal San
the
Dimas
regular
people.
characters. Yeah,
like Ted's dad, stepmom Missy,
the little brother,
Ted's little brother.
Yeah.
Obviously, Bill and Ted, both princesses, all the same actors too.
Yeah.
Like they don't recast anything, so it all feels like a natural conclusion. And unlike most modern movies where like your heroes get shit on for 2 hours and then they may or may not come back to greatness, this whole movie treats Bill and Ted. But like this, Cecil, I said this on the show. If they treated Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Princess Leia, and other modern Star Wars characters as well as they treated Bill and Ted in this new movie, there'd be no Phantom Menace. Nobody would have bitched about this stuff.
Yeah.
So
there are a couple of properties like the comic book America is the whole reason why Comicsgate exists.
Oh yeah, America Chavez.
Yeah, that comic book was so bad that like people took to the internet and then they all started meeting each other. And
so I hear the SJWs are all pissed now about Keanu Reeves' crowdfunded comic book because oh my god, it should just be you're taking attention away from the independent creators, which is hilarious because I thought they had a problem with independent creators because none of us are woke enough for them.
It would bring more people in. They're missing the boat. Like it brings more eyeballs to, oh wait, there's Kickstarter independent comics. Like a lot of people wouldn't even be aware of that without this. So they'll browse around and look for other stuff to order, and it's a win. Like you know what I mean? Like it's there are
people. I mean, there are plenty of people who probably haven't even realized that that's an option. You know? Oh wait, I can buy an independently funded comic. Wait, people have Kickstarters for comics. They do crowdfunders for creative material. Wow, a lot of people probably don't know that. You know,
it's why when you start a restaurant, you want to find a location that has a few other restaurants really close to it, because what happens is people don't know where they're going. They just head to that block and they're in Manhattan, there's a street called Restaurant Row, and it's just every single thing on them, and you don't know where you're going to go. So you want people to go to Kickstarter and be like, oh, I'm going to look for comics here.
Sure.
They don't know what they're looking for. You just head to that area to start looking for comics. It's always good. Well, and obviously Indiegogo is where Comicsgate does their business. So, but I think when people are starting to associate Indiegogo with comics, and even if they don't know what they're looking for, they'll go look for something. It's the same thing like the restaurant thing. It's like if someone's doing great, the best thing you could do is put up a new restaurant next to a restaurant that's doing great, because you have overflow and waiting and people who can't get in, and you're just going to do great right off the bat. Like you want to be next to success. So I don't see why it's bad for independent creators to have a huge successful independent book by Keanu Reeves. It's just going to have overflow.
I agree. I mean, you can look at like, what Ethan's just taken. This is another challenge to beat. Another goal to set, someone he can be in competition with. So I think you put it exactly right. It's people who are looking to be successful shouldn't feel daunted by other successful people being in their sphere. You should feel encouraged.
Yeah, they have the view of there's a limited amount of dollars, and they're gonna waste the money on Keanu that they could have wasted on me, but. That's not the way it works.
It's not.
Zach did a great video on this today. He's like, these people think it's like the coins in John Wick, where there's only a certain amount
in the world. Yeah. And no, I get it. Sure, but that's like, you got to consider your market. I get the whole concern. Oh, it's going to take away from our profits. No, people who buy comics, there are going to be some people who are going to buy this one just because they're Keanu Reeves fans. And those people were never going to buy your comic anyway. People who buy comics don't just buy one comic. Comic people, they're collectors.
I have like a couple thousand, Cecil, maybe. So yeah, thousands of books.
Very infrequent that you had a person who's like, I'm really into like these 3 comics and that's it. And nothing else.
I met a girl like that once. In a comic book class.
Oh my God.
All she wanted to talk about was Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, and the guy's like, man, we're talking about Superman right now, but we'd love to take recommendations at the end of the semester.
I love Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, but that's a web comic. That's a completely different, that's not even in the same conversation.
Yeah. I've never even heard of that.
Oh my God.
Do you like Invader Zim? It's the same. I heard it.
I kind of did when I was a kid, but Not that much.
The story is really dark and twisted. If you like fucked up characters, you'll like it.
Oh, okay.
It's you might give it a shot. It's something like you definitely worth giving a shot.
Remember, Silence of the Lambs is my favorite movie. So
I
now
know.
you're talking.
I know. I think you will like it, like what it's about, the story. I'm not an artist,
That's
so
the creator, Johnny the House.
Can I ask you guys a question? Just like a production question is because The Boys is Garth Ennis, right? So it's and I noticed Seth Rogen was in the one of the episodes.
Yeah,
is he producing it? Because I know that he produced the television version of Preacher.
maybe. I mean, that seems
Did
like
he buy the rights to like Garth Ennis's books for TV?
I don't know. I'd have to find some information, but that kind of a theory would make perfect sense because if you're Seth Rogen wanting to get involved with something and you're a writer, and
Did you watch Preacher?
first couple episodes, I was a fan. I have, I'm not.
Yeah, it fell off fast. I did like the actors they picked. I had no problem with that, but
You guys are the same thing I did.
but it I don't know. I lost interest, and I fucking I have every issue of Preacher, probably in duplicate, maybe even triplicate, and just from buying collections, I buy full. But I fucking that's one of my favorite runs of comics ever produced, and it's I don't know. When I watched the show, I didn't care. I didn't give a shit.
I got a random question for you. Have you ever read the book Transmetropolitan?
Yeah.
The only reason I ask is because it's the same artist who worked on The Boys, and I wanted to give a recommendation to people. I'll bring my copies out. I think you'd really dig this story. Yeah, Spider Jerusalem might be.
That was Grant Morrison, right?
Warren Ellis.
Warren Ellis, shit, fucking.
Oh, dude! Speaking of comic artists, dude, we got
Warren Ellis, the seducer of women.
Ooh, we got Chuck Dixon on the High Council this week, so that'll be a fun show.
Oh, awesome! Yeah.
So
he's doing Expendables with Zach.
Nice,
cool.
You know about that?
No, I don't. I haven't watched a Diversity in Comics video in years. So
well, Sylvester Stallone, I think, reached out to Chuck Dixon, who was working with Zach, and they are doing the Expendables comic. It's Expendables Go to Hell.
Nice,
and it's them in hell, and they are fighting another. Like it's two groups of people fighting, and they have everybody who ever died. Alexander the Great and Hannibal and fucking like there's war elephants and it is a huge war of Genghis Khan and it's fucking just this whole thing going on in hell, and it's Chuck Dixon's writing it. Forget who's fucking drawing it. It looks fucking amazing though. It's a Brazilian guy, I think, but it's fucking fantastic. But yeah, so Chuck, you gotta look into that and ask him about that.
I will. I'm actually going to do research for this one because, we're getting guests that are outside of the fandom manosphere, which in my opinion makes the show more exciting. I mean, we've had screenwriter, people that have worked at Lucasfilm, that worked directly with George Lucas. Now we got Chuck Dixon, who wrote Batman or Nightfall, where Bane broke the Batman.
Yeah. He did the biggest. I think one of the biggest Batman fucking run of all time. The Nightfall of him getting his back broken and the whole Bane thing. That was my prime time of reading comics and fucking I was in heaven.
Well, if you want to look if you're interested in talking to him directly, I can always drop you the link, man. Always fun to have comic people on comic streams. So
I'll pop on and say hello.
What makes me really happy about all this? It's like you can talk about, oh yeah, this is some of like the greatest part of comics. As much as I feel I was born in the wrong era, I'm really glad that all of these people are still alive and we can talk to them still. Like there's ways to get a hold of them, and that's like cool. It's one good thing about being alive right now.
So just there's a handful of people right now who are probably slightly confused, who are just tuned in to my stream, which just went live over on Mindless Entertainment. So we are going to flip over, and we do still have plenty of boys stuff to talk about. And we've gotten on all these fun topics that may seem like we've already exhausted the boys season 2. That is simply not true. So guys, I sent you the link over on Twitter.
Dead Raider says Anna should have been born on Middle Earth.
I really should have.
Do we have to switch over right now?
Yeah, so we're gonna flip over to Moistram. Jeff's screen sharing it. So there's streamception going on.
Delay.
Right now. Crazy.
Will I be able to breathe if I leave the studio and go before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is it like traveling in outer space? I have to just take a full lungful right now.
Yeah, just take a big deep breath in. Actually, that was like when we played our Pirates game in fencing class. If you wanted to swing on the rope, you had to just go. You had to say swing the entire time, and if you stopped for a breath, you fell into the abyss and died.
You swing on ropes in fencing class?
There were imaginary ropes. So basically, what I'm saying, Cecil, is if you don't do this in one breath, you will fall into the abyss, and the deep will sick as sharks upon you.
I could hold my breath for 2 minutes.
Yes. Yo Jimbo says I'm early for you're late for that. You're early for this. You're not early, Yo Jimbo. We have started over here. We're just flipping.
All right. We're going over to Mindless Entertainment. Everybody go over there.
Mindless Entertainment. Links in the chat right there. So if you're not already over here,
all right,
hang tight, and we'll
bye.
The party continues immediately.